Alright, dude, let's go. Number 10. WASP-12b. In 2010, a team led by Carole Haswell of the Open University used the Hubble Space Telescope's Cosmic Origins spectrograph to observe something that should not be happening to a planet. WASP-12b, a gas giant roughly 1.4 times the mass of Jupiter, is orbiting its host star so closely that it completes a full orbit in 1.09 Earth days. The distance between the planet and its star is roughly 3.4 million kilometers. For comparison, Mercury is 58 million kilometers from the Sun. The unsettling part isn't the heat, it's the shape. The tidal forces at that distance are so extreme that the planet is no longer spherical. It has been stretched into an egg. Its atmosphere is being pulled away in a continuous stream of gas, spiraling into the star like water circling a drain. Hubble's ultraviolet observations confirmed it. WASP-12b is losing its atmosphere, layer by layer, orbit by orbit. The surface temperature exceeds 2,500 degrees Celsius. The planet glows. Its day side absorbs so much light that it reflects almost nothing, making it one of the darkest planets ever observed. And it is shrinking. Models estimate it will be completely consumed by its star within roughly 10 million years. That sounds like a long time. In cosmic terms, it is a blink. You are looking at a planet being eaten alive by its own star. Slowly. Visibly. One orbit at a time. And it cannot stop. It cannot move. It cannot leave. The ground beneath you, if you could stand on it, is being devoured. A planet being eaten alive by its own star. And it cannot leave. Number 9. The surface of a neutron star. In 1967, Jocelyn Bell Burnell and Anthony Hewish at Cambridge detected the first pulsar, a rapidly rotating neutron star emitting beams of radiation. What they had found was the densest solid object in the known universe. A neutron star is roughly 20 kilometers across, about the length of Manhattan, and it contains more mass than the Sun. The truly terrifying aspect isn't the density, it's what happens when you arrive. A single teaspoon of neutron star material weighs approximately 6 billion tons. The gravitational acceleration at the surface is roughly 200 billion times stronger than Earth's. If you dropped an object from 1 meter above the surface, it would hit at approximately 7 million kilometers per hour. 1 meter. That is the height of a kitchen counter. The surface is not rock. It is not metal in any way you would recognize. It is a crystal lattice of iron nuclei compressed so tightly that the electrons have been forced into the atomic nuclei themselves, merging with protons to form pure neutrons. Beneath that crust lies a neutron superfluid, a quantum liquid with zero viscosity, flowing without friction in permanent currents that generate magnetic fields trillions of times stronger than Earth's. The surface temperature is roughly 1 million Kelvin. The escape velocity is 1/3 the speed of light. To leave, you would need to accelerate to 100,000 kilometers per second. For comparison, the fastest spacecraft ever built, the Parker Solar Probe, travels at roughly 200 kilometers per second. You would need to go 500 times faster. From a surface where dropping a coin from waist height produces an impact moving at 7 million kilometers per hour. The most extreme solid surface in the universe. 1 meter is all it takes. Number 8. Rogue black holes. In 2022, a team led by Kailash Sahu of the Space Telescope Science Institute published results in the Astrophysical Journal confirming the first detection of an isolated stellar mass black hole. The detection was made using gravitational microlensing observed by the Hubble Space Telescope. The black hole, designated MOA-2011-BLG-191, was identified not by anything it emitted, but by the way it bent the light of a star behind it as it drifted past. The disturbing part isn't that they exist. It's that you can't see them. Stellar mass black holes are the remnants of massive stars that collapsed at the end of their lives. They emit no light. They reflect no light. They are, in every practical sense, invisible. The only way to detect one is if it passes in front of something bright enough for the bending to be measured. Otherwise, it is a gravitational shadow moving through the galaxy in silence. Estimates suggest there are between 100 million and 1 billion stellar mass black holes in the Milky Way alone. Most are not in binary systems. Most are not near anything. They are drifting through interstellar space, pulled by the same gravitational currents that move stars, following orbits that no one has charted and no instrument is tracking. If one were approaching our solar system, you would not know it was coming. There would be no radiation, no signal, no warning. You would notice it only when the orbits of distant objects began to shift. By then, the gravitational influence would already be rearranging the architecture of the system you live in, not with violence, with geometry, quietly, invisibly, inevitably. There are black holes drifting through this galaxy right now. You would never see one coming. Number 7. The Surface of Magnetar SGR 1806-20. On December 27, 2004, every gamma-ray satellite in orbit was simultaneously overwhelmed. The instruments on NASA's Swift satellite, designed to detect explosions from billions of light-years away, saturated instantly. The energy penetrated the walls of the spacecraft and hit the detectors from the wrong direction. The source was not billions of light-years away. It was inside the Milky Way. 50,000 light-years from Earth. A magnetar designated SGR 1806-20. What makes this place uniquely horrifying is the distance it can reach. In 0.2 of a second, SGR 1806-20 released more energy than the Sun produces in 250,000 years. The blast was a starquake, a fracture in the neutron star's ultra-dense crust, triggered by its own magnetic field. That magnetic field measures roughly 10 to the 15th Gauss. Earth's magnetic field is less than 1 Gauss. The magnetar's is 1,000 trillion times stronger. The effects scaled with distance in ways that should not be possible for something 20 kilometers wide. From half the distance of the Moon, the field would erase every credit card on Earth. From 2,000 miles, it would rearrange every atom in your body into needle-shaped formations along the field lines. And from 50,000 light-years, from halfway across the galaxy, the burst still compressed Earth's magnetic field and partially ionized the upper atmosphere. Fishermen in the Arctic reported a sudden, unexplained aurora. Had this event occurred within 10 light-years of Earth, it would have destroyed the ozone layer and triggered a mass extinction. A city-sized object, 20 kilometers across, capable of sterilizing a region of the galaxy from further away than most telescopes can resolve. A city-sized object, half a galaxy away, physically struck Earth, and there was nothing anyone could do. Number 6. The Photon Sphere. In 1916, Carl Schwarzschild solved Einstein's field equations for a spherically symmetric mass and discovered a boundary that would later be called the event horizon. But the event horizon is not the strangest place near a black hole. That distinction belongs to a region just outside it, the Photon Sphere, located at exactly 1.5 times the Schwarzschild radius. The nightmare is what you see. At the Photon Sphere, gravity is strong enough to bend the path of light into a closed orbit. Photons circle the black hole in an unstable loop, neither escaping nor falling in. If you could hover at this exact radius and look straight ahead, you would see the back of your own head. Not reflected, not projected. The light leaving the back of your skull would travel all the way around the black hole and return to your eyes. You would be looking at yourself through curved space-time. The orbit is unstable. Any movement, any perturbation, any fraction of a millimeter inward, and the light falls into the black hole, and so do you. Any fraction outward, and the light escapes and you can attempt to follow. You are balanced on a mathematical knife edge. One side is the universe. The other side is the interior of a black hole. There is no in-between state. There is no stable hovering. The photon sphere is the last place in the universe where light still moves in any direction other than down. One step closer, and every photon, every signal, every possible trajectory points inward. Light itself gives up trying to leave. And if light cannot escape, neither can information. Neither can time as you understand it. Neither can you, the last place in the universe where light still moves. One step further and it doesn't. Number 5. The Kilonova Zone. On August 17, 2017, the LIGO and Virgo gravitational wave detectors simultaneously detected a signal designated GWW170817. Within seconds, the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope detected a short gamma-ray burst from the same region of sky. Within hours, telescopes around the world identified a new point of light in the galaxy NGC 4993, 130 million light-years away. The source was a kilonova, the collision and merger of two neutron stars. The terrifying part is what the violence creates. The merger zone reached temperatures in the billions of degrees. The collision produced a blast of gamma radiation so intense that if it had occurred within a few light-years, it would have sterilized the facing hemisphere of any nearby planet. The gravitational waves were strong enough to be detected 130 million light-years away by instruments sensitive enough to measure a change in distance smaller than 1,000th the width of a proton. But the merger also produced something else. In the aftermath, spectroscopic analysis confirmed the synthesis of heavy elements: gold, platinum, uranium, the elements too heavy for ordinary stars to forge. The R-process nucleosynthesis, running in milliseconds, inside a fireball expanding at a fraction of the speed of light. Astronomers estimated the merger produced roughly 10 Earth masses of gold. Every gold atom on Earth was forged in a collision like this. Every platinum ring, every uranium fuel rod, every trace of heavy metal in your body came from a point in space where two dead stars collided at a third the speed of light, reached temperatures of billions of degrees, and briefly became the most violent place in the post-Big Bang universe. The most violent place in the universe is also where your gold ring was born. Number 4. TON 618. In 1957, astronomers catalogued a faint object in the constellation Canes-Venatici. It was given the designation TON 618. For decades, nobody understood what it was. When modern instruments resolved its distance and luminosity, the answer was staggering. TON 618 is a quasar powered by one of the most massive black holes ever discovered. 66 billion solar masses. The part that should disturb you is the scale. The event horizon of TON 618 spans approximately 390 billion kilometers. That is roughly 2,600 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun. The entire solar system, every planet, every moon, every asteroid, the Kuiper belt, the Oort cloud, all of it would fit comfortably inside the event horizon with room to spare. It is not a point in space. It is a region larger than any structure you have ever conceived of. And it is active. TON 618 powers one of the brightest quasars ever observed. The accretion disk around it, the ring of superheated matter spiraling inward, emits more light than entire galaxies. The luminosity is estimated at 140 trillion times that of the Sun. The material at the edge of the accretion disk moves at a significant fraction of the speed of light, heated to millions of degrees by friction and compression. From a distance, it looks like a beacon, a single point of light outshining everything around it. From closer, the scale becomes apparent. The event horizon alone is a sphere larger than the orbits of the outermost planets in any solar system. Nothing that crosses it returns. No light, no information, no matter. 66 billion suns worth of mass, compressed behind a boundary from which the universe cannot retrieve a single photon. A single object larger than the solar system. And it is still growing. Number 3. The Boötes Void. In 1981, astronomer Robert Kirshner of the University of Michigan was conducting a redshift survey to map the large-scale structure of the universe. As the map took shape, a blank region appeared. At 700 million light-years from Earth, centered near the constellation Boötes, there was almost nothing. Kirshner and his team published the result in a paper titled "A Million Cubic Megaparsec Void in Boötes." The unsettling part isn't the emptiness, it's that the emptiness has no explanation. The Boötes Void is approximately 330 million light-years across. It is one of the largest known structures in the observable universe. Inside it, astronomers have found only 60 galaxies. A region of comparable size elsewhere in the universe would contain roughly 2,000. The void is not dark because something is blocking the light. It is dark because almost nothing is there to produce light. Astronomer Greg Aldering calculated that if the Milky Way had been located at the center of the Boötes Void, we would not have discovered the existence of other galaxies until the 1960s. Every civilization that evolved inside that void would look up at a sky with almost nothing in it. No neighboring galaxies, no cosmic web visible, just blackness, in every direction, for hundreds of millions of light-years. Computer models suggest voids form when gravity pulls galaxies toward denser regions, emptying the spaces between. But several researchers have noted that there has not been enough time since the Big Bang for gravity alone to clear a void this large. Something else may have shaped it. Or something about our models is wrong. 330 million light-years of almost nothing, no confirmed explanation, and the ground beneath you has no answer for why. Number 2. The CMB Cold Spot. In 2004, scientists analyzing data from NASA's Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, WMAP, identified an anomalous region in the cosmic microwave background. a patch of sky roughly 10 degrees across in the constellation Eridanus that was significantly colder than the surrounding radiation. The Planck satellite later confirmed it. The temperature difference is approximately 70 microkelvins. Small in absolute terms, enormous in cosmological terms, where the background radiation is expected to be almost perfectly uniform. The truly horrifying possibility is not that the cold spot exists, it's what might have caused it. The cosmic microwave background is the oldest light in the universe. It was released 380,000 years after the Big Bang, when the universe cooled enough for atoms to form and light to travel freely. Any anomaly in that radiation is an anomaly in the structure of the early universe itself. One proposed explanation is the integrated Sachs-Wolf effect. The cold spot is the imprint of a supervoid, possibly the Eridanus supervoid, stretching 1.8 billion light-years across. Light passing through an expanding void loses energy. That explanation works partially, but studies have found the void alone cannot fully account for the temperature deficit. Another explanation is stranger. In 2007, Laura Mersini Houghton of the University of North Carolina and Richard Holman of Carnegie Mellon proposed that the cold spot is the gravitational imprint of another universe pressing against our own, a bruise on the cosmic microwave background left by a neighboring universe in a multiverse. The entanglement between our universe and another, frozen into the oldest light we can see. Something left a mark on the first light of the universe. It might have been a void. It might have been something from outside. Something may have touched our universe from the other side. This is the mark it left. Number 1. The Singularity. In 1965, mathematician Roger Penrose, working at Birkbeck College in London, proved a theorem that would earn him the Nobel Prize in Physics 55 years later. The theorem demonstrated that under the conditions of general relativity, gravitational collapse leads inevitably to a singularity, a point of infinite density, zero volume, a place where every known equation in physics produces the same answer, infinity, which in physics means the equation has stopped working. Every other entry on this list is a place you could visit and die. This one is a place where the concept of place no longer applies. A singularity is not a tiny dot at the center of a black hole, though it is often drawn that way. It is a boundary condition, a mathematical statement that the theory has reached its limit. General relativity, the theory that describes the curvature of spacetime with extraordinary precision across the entire observable universe, arrives at the singularity and breaks. Not approximately, completely. The curvature becomes infinite. The density becomes infinite. The tidal forces become infinite. Every physical quantity that the equations can calculate diverges to infinity. And infinity is not a number. It is the absence of an answer. Inside a black hole, once past the event horizon, the singularity is not a location in space. Roger Penrose's conformal diagrams show that the singularity becomes a moment in time. It is your future. You cannot turn away from it any more than you can turn away from tomorrow. Firing thrusters does not move you away from it. It only changes how quickly you arrive. There is no surface. There is no floor. There is no material to stand on. There is no temperature to measure because thermodynamics has no meaning here. There is no distance because distance requires geometry, and geometry has collapsed. The ground beneath you started this list as a planet being devoured, a surface being stripped away by tidal forces. Entry by entry, the ground became more extreme, denser, more violent, more alien. Here at the end, there is no ground. There is no beneath. There is no you. Only the point where every equation in physics writes the same word, undefined. This is not the scariest place in the universe because of what it does to you. It is the scariest place in the universe because it is where the universe itself stops being describable, where physics ends, where the tools we built to understand reality admit in their own language that they cannot. The singularity is not a place. It is the end of places. And it has been waiting at the center of every black hole since the first star died. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen now and make sure to subscribe.